Since it's perpendicular bisector to the chord AB, which means that these two are equal. Since the whole thing is 20, so this is 10 and this is 10 right here. We're looking for the radius only of the circle. So it's either OB or OA. Okay, so to find OB or OA, we have to use this right triangle. But this right triangle only involves 10. The 6 is not for the measure of NO. It's for MN. So therefore, we have to name this as your X. Okay, if you name this as your X, what's the measure of the hypotenuse? But you can express the measure of the hypotenuse in terms of the other values that are identified. Very good. That's X plus 6. This is X plus 6. Why is it X plus 6? MO is also a radius. So if that's also radius, then therefore, the radius is just 6 plus x. So therefore, hypotenuse is x plus 6. So that will be equal to 12x. Use FOIL method. Don't forget the FOIL method. Equal to 36. So this is equal to x squared plus 100. So by horizontal cancellation or addition property of equality, you can remove that. So 12x is equal to 100 minus 36 or equal to 64. Yan. So x is equal to 64 over 12. And we can simplify 64 over 12 by dividing 4, both numerator and denominator. This will give me 16 all over 3. That is only 6. The x, it's not the radius yet. The radius is equal to x plus 6, remember? So therefore, x plus 6, you have to add 16 over 3 to 6. And this will give you 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 16 plus 18 is equal to 34. Yan. Is equal to 34. Yan. So therefore, the radius of the circle is 34 over 3, or you can actually write this as 11 and 1/3, 11 and 1/3, or 11.33. So in order to get TO, this is basically very good. That is basically 90. If you see a tangent line, directly ipakita nyo na 90 to. Okay, that's one strategy that you can use. If you see, or if it is given that it's a tangent line, show that this makes 90. And if this makes 90, it will make it clear to you that you are dealing with a right triangle here. And since that is 5, if you use Pythagorean theorem, that's okay. But we also have Pythagorean triple. Since the since the given is the two legs and we're looking for the hypotenuse, therefore, using Pythagorean triple, this is 13. The whole thing is 13. But I'm not looking for the TO. I'm looking for the TC. Exactly. Since this is also a radius, therefore this is 5. So 13 minus 5x is definitely equal to 8. So in this one, you are already given that the two the two segments AT and CT are tangent. So the first thing that you're going to do is to draw 90 because that's how it is, right? When you draw 90, you can easily say this is 40, right? But are we looking for BCO? Not BCO, but we're looking for BCA, ACO. So in this case, this is 50. And if this is 50 right here, this should be 100. Tama? This one can easily be solved since you're dealing with a quadrilateral, and this quadrilateral is composed of 90, 90, and 48. So since 90, 90 na to, 180 na yon. So dapat si 48 with the angle AOC should be equal to 180 also. Therefore, 180 minus 48 is equal to 2, 7 minus 4 is 3, 132. This is 132. Okay? Are we looking for AOC? Yes, there is AOC. Okay? It doesn't mean that I started with BCA. It doesn't mean that you really have to look for BCA first. Since this whole thing is 132, since it's inscribed by 132, central angle 132, So if this is 100, then the small arc right here is 32. That's 32. We can also find ABC directly. How do you find ABC? Since 132 na yon, kaharap ni 132 is this one, which is 2 to 8. Tama? And if this is 2 to 8, then the whole arc here is also 2 to 8. And if this is 2 to 8 right here, then the angle ABC is half of 2 to 8, which is 114. Yan, 114. ACO. So let me just clear this part right here so that it's clear for me what I'm looking for. Let me use orange. I'm looking for this angle ACO. And if I look for ACO, if I will be able to look for ACO, then I will be able to look for BCA since I know that the whole thing right here is 40 beside 50. But ACO is actually formed by the obtuse angle with wherein this is 132. And since this is 132 and it's obvious that this is an isosceles triangle, why is it isosceles? Because of the radius. So 132 minus 180 is 48. So 48 is shared by these two angles right here. So this one is 24 and this one is also 24, which means that ACO is 24. I got 16 degrees because this whole thing right here is 40 because this is 50 and it should be 90. And I already identified this angle, which is 24. So to make it 40, this should be 16. Or opposite of the angle is 32. And what is half of 32? Opposite of this angle is 32. So half of 32 is also 16. So you have two ways. So I think the common number that I can see that I have seen the chat box is 8. Okay, angle 8. Angle 8 is easy. Why is it easy? Because it's just subtends to the arc 120. So if that is 120, then 8 is also 120. Okay, next is 1. Exactly. Since 1 is just beside 8, therefore they should be supplementary. So 1 is equal to 60. We have measure of angle 2. What is the measure of angle 2? It should be 90. Why 90? Because it intercepts a semicircle. When you have a semicircle, very good. It should always be 90 degrees. Angle 3 intercepts, observe that it intercepts this angle, intercepts this arc right here. Yan. Okay? So therefore, since it intercepts 84, then the measure should be 42. I know that this one right here is 60, right? If this is 60, then I only need this part GB right here to be identified in order for me to solve for 10. Tama? Because if I get GB, I will be able to solve for 10. And eventually, I will be able to solve for 4 and 6. Since this is already a semicircle, yan, so therefore, this 84 plus 58 plus GB, so it should be equal to 180. Therefore, 180 minus the sum of 84 and 58 should equal to the value of GB. So measure of arc GB will be 180 minus 142. 142 minus 180 is 38. Tama? Yan, tama. 38. This is 38. So if this is 38, then measure of angle 10 should be equal to half of the entire measure of arc GBC or GC. And that is 38 plus 60, which is equal to 98. So half of 98 will give you 49. So therefore, measure of angle 10 is 49. If Measure of angle 10 is identified, then we can actually find the measure of angle 7. Since this is a tangent, so it should be 90. And we know that this is 49 already. So if this is 49, then therefore 7 is equal to 41. And then 4 is actually what? 4 is actually the exterior of the triangle A with CO and right here. Do you see that? Okay, that black triangle right there. That black triangle, the 4 becomes an exterior angle. If it's an exterior angle, then it's the sum of 60 and 41. So it's 101. What's the other way to get number 4? You can actually add 41 and 60. Then subtract to 180, you will get right here 79. This is 79. And since supplementary, yung 79 at 4, then therefore, this should be 101. How do you get 6? In order to get 6, you can also solve, since this is already 42, yan, this is 79, yan, this is 79 right here, this angle, because they are vertically opposite. Now, notice I'm not using the formula that we used to in part of the discussion that we have. I solely base my solution on the basic concepts that we have. Now, in this case, your 6 is actually the exterior also of the triangle right here. So 6 is 49 plus 79 plus 32, which is equal to 121. So if this is 101, this whole thing right here is equal to, if this is 96, then therefore the angle right here is equal to 48. If this is 48 plus 101, then therefore measure of angle 5 is 180 minus 48 plus 101. So 48 plus 101 is 149, and 149 minus 180, or subtract from 180, will give you 31. 31. So angle 5 is 31. Yan, I use the triangle A, yung may AF. Yan. So this is 31. So measure of angle 9, we can also solve since this is 90 already, and this is 90 already right here. This is 120. So make sure that it's 360. So 120 and the angle 9 should be supplementary. So this should be 60. Now, we can also use different methods for angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, and angle 9. To solve for the measure of angle 9, you can actually use the idea that the measure of the angle outside is equal to the difference divided by a difference of the intercepted arcs divided by 2. Example, for our x is 9. This is our angle x. The smaller arc is 120. Therefore, the bigger arc is the remaining arc of the circle, which is the entire thing right here. So the entire thing right here is 360 minus 120 is 240. So that's 240 minus the smaller arc, which is the inner, that's 120 divided by 2. And 240 minus 120 is equal to 120 divided by 2 is equal to 60. You still get the same value for 9, which is 60. To get 5, we use the same idea as 9. So yeah, let's try that one. So our angle this time, we're looking for the measure of angle 5. Okay, let's try to focus on measure of angle 5 right here. The smaller arc is 58. The bigger arc is 120. You see that? So therefore, if you have mastered the formula already, si measure of angle 5 yung madali din. Because measure of angle 5 has the bigger arc 120 and minus the smaller arc 58. And then divided by 2, the answer will be 120 minus 58 is equal to 6. Yeah, 62 divided by 2, which is still equal to 31. And yet, our answer for measure of angle 5 is 31. So whether you use the formula or not, you will still get the same answer. For number 4 and for angle 4 and angle 6. For angle 4 and angle 6, let me just clear this out para mas makita yung relationship. Yan. Okay. Yan. So for angle 4 and angle 6, let me use this chords right here. This chord and this chord. The chords that we need here obviously intercepts two different arcs. Ang na-intercept ng arc natin dito are the arc 84 and 58 and the arc which is also 60. Yan. So this 84 and 58, when you add them up, that will give you 142. Tama? So the whole thing right here is 142. That's the measure of the arc, including the 58. So if that is 142 and this is 60, remember that when the angle, measure of angle 4, that the angle formed by the two chords is equal to the average of the arc. So which means that I have to add 142 plus 60 and then divide it by 2 so that I can get the value of measure of angle 4. And 142 plus 60 is equal to 202. And when I divide this by 2, the answer is 101. This is the beauty when you also understand the relationship of the chord intercepting two different arcs. Now, angle 6 intercepts two different arcs naman. Let me just show you in a different color. Angle 6 is formed by this and this. Okay, so what I will do is to use the supplementary angle of 6 to find for 6. So what do I mean by that? I will use the angle right here. Itong angle na to, or itong angle na to. Sup of angle 6 is equal to 58 plus 60 divided by 2. Remember, this is not the angle 6 that we're looking for. This is the supplementary of angle 6. When you do that, you will have, saan ko nakuha yung 58 and 60? It is the intercepted arc here, 58, and the intercepted arc here, which is 60. So therefore, 58 plus 60 is 118, and 118 divided by 2 will give you 59. And since this is 59 and that's supplementary of 6, therefore measure of angle 6 is 180 minus the sup of 6. The sup of angle 6. So therefore, 180 minus supplementary of 6, which is 59, will give you 121. So that's why measure of angle 6 is 121. Yan. Let's identify first and expound or extend the given. So in the given, we have seen tick marks, right? The tick marks here denotes that they're equal. So this is also x right here. Now, if I work with the inner segments, I will have two unknowns. That will be y and that will be x. So I try to avoid a solution that deals with two unknowns. Okay? Why not work with the tangent segment 16 and the secant segment or the secant line right here or segment that is composed here. Remember this one? What is our strategy right here? It's ow, ow. Ow, ow. Now, the tangent is multiplied to itself. It's 16 times 16. And that is equal to 8 outside times the total 8 plus 2x. You just have to add. You don't multiply. 8 and 16, 1, 2. So, okay, so this is 8 plus 2x. You can further simplify, but let me just use that one. So that would be 24 when you subtract 32 by 8, and this is 2x. So definitely x is equal to 12. So if x is equal to 12, put the value directly on the figure so that you will have a reference. And observe that these segments right here are formed by two chords. So you can use the two chords that we learned. In using the two chords, what will be the formula that we're going to use? It should be, can you give me the working solution in the chat box? 12 times 12 outer, hindi naman outer, segment to segment is equal to segment 4 times segment y. Okay, cancel 4 and cancel 12. This gives you 3. 3 times 12 is equal to 36. Just to avoid multiplying 12 and 12. Yan. Y is equal to 36. So in this case, we're given with IR, which is the entire thing. That's 25. AE is 24. And NA is 6. Yan. So what we can do, since we already know that it's segment to segment, and we don't have segment, but we have total right here, then separate the total. How do you separate the total? It should be IA times AR. But since the total of that is 25, you can just assign AI as your X. Therefore, what is the value of your AR? IA as X, so therefore AR is what? AR is, so your working equation should be IA, very good, 25 minus X. So IA times AR, this is your working equation, is equal to EA times AN. Yan. Since we have assigned EA as X, therefore AR is 25 minus X. Yan. And then EA is 6, EA is 24, and AN is 6. 25x equal to minus x squared equal to 144. Tama ba? Yeah, 144. And then since you're dealing with a quadratic equation, then transform that to the proper, the standard form of a quadratic equation. So 25x plus 144. So what I did is to make one side 0, and then I can continue to factoring. What will be the factors? So that would be negative 16 and x negative 9. So this will give me two values of x, and that is 16 or x equal to 9. Since in the figure, IA is longer, so I'll have to use IA as 16. And my AR is 9. Or 9, or this is 16. Yan. So you can have those different values of your AI and IA, as long as it only involves the two numbers 16 and 9.